helps our community in many ways, and one way is through fellowship programs. Joining us now is student Amari Roberts to tell us about her fellowship program. Hi, Amari.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
What
you.
is the name of your program?
So the name of my program is called the LexisNexis African Ancestry Network, LexisNexis Rule of Law Foundation.
So you're going to tell us all about that.
Yes. So the African American Ancestry Network has partnered with the LexisNexis Rule of Law Foundation to create this fellowship program. And so when we acknowledge the program, we have to include both aspects because they've both been pivotal in making this fellowship program happen.
And what is your work? What does your work entail?
So my work entails a project that I am doing. I am abolishing the death penalty in the state of Georgia. And the name of my project is called the McCleskey Act. The McCleskey Act is named after the Supreme Court case, McCleskey versus Kemp, and it's based on an African-American man named Warren McCleskey. He's a Georgia native who took his case all the way to the Supreme Court. He was an inmate on death row, and what he wanted to explain to the Supreme Court is that although he committed the crime, there is an alarming rate of African Americans who are on death row that are being executed. And so what he did was he took a lot of statistical data shown for African Americans who are executed on death row, and he said to the Supreme Court, wait a minute, you know, I know that with capital crimes comes death row, but I want you to see that there's a disparate impact going on here. And so the Supreme Court said, you know, okay, we'll take a look at the data. We see it, we hear it, but it's just not enough to show that the framers of the law that created the death penalty system created the system with a discriminatory intent. And so what that means is essentially we see that, yes, African Americans are being executed on death row at a faster rate than other races, but it's not enough. And so, unfortunately, Warren McCleskey was executed. But reading about that case in my constitutional law class just didn't sit well with me. And so when this opportunity came up to do a project on it, I jumped at it.
That's awesome. And what type of law do you want to practice when you graduate?
So I want to go into criminal prosecution. I want to be a prosecutor and then work my way up to the federal level to become a federal prosecutor and then ultimately a federal court judge.
I think that's interesting because on one hand, you're doing the research that's going to benefit the defendants. At the same time, you're looking to be a prosecutor, but I think that a lot of people don't give credit to prosecutors who have the best interest, which should be the majority. And so good for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amari.
Thank
Amari
you.
Roberts. Fellowship programs are used to help the community as well as help law students gain important hands-on legal experience.